Character name, Mars, the X-Dark Hunter. Originally debuted December 15th, 2011. Overall look and changes. Mars is meant to look tough and mysterious, and his build gives off a vampire hunter or witch/wizard vibe. Mars's concept design was originally supposed to be a being with control over space and a trans blue and black color scheme, but all that remains from that concept is the general design of his staff. I came up with the final concept for the Mars we know and love much later, around the time Von Nebula was released in Hero Factory. His first version only took a couple of days to build, but has gone through countless revisions in the last 7 years. Here are some of the most notable changes. Character bio. Titles and occupations. Mars is classified as an ancient Toa, which is a Toa created before the standards of the Matoran species such as size and gender were decided upon by the Great Beings. This means Mars is almost as old as the Bionicle universe itself. Mars has also been a Toa for almost his entire life, having been kidnapped by the Dark Hunters and forced to transform into a Toa at a young age to serve the Shadowed One. Mars managed to escape the Dark Hunters before they got fully established, using his training and a particularly useful artifact he retrieved on a mission. He now works for the Order of Matanui's spy division, led by Toa Ajax, and is the most proficient spy in the division. Personality. Despite his dark backstory, Mars is usually in a pretty good mood. I imagine him as kind of a sassy, cool-headed guy who uses humorous quips all the time, but can be serious when it's necessary. He's also ridiculously cocky, and prefers to use his strength more than his stealth, which works in his favor more often than it should. On the deeper side, Mars, as a Toa, feels the same way all Toa do, what I like to call the pull of destiny. All Toa have an instinctual urge to follow the three virtues, as they are originally intended to. However, having worked for the Dark Hunters and the Order of Matanui his whole life, whatever destiny Mars originally had is now lost to time. This gives him an internal, melancholic side that he chooses to keep buried under his usual persona. Abilities and powers. Mars is a stronger than average Toa of lightning, which gives him near-perfect command over electricity. At a basic level, he can create, control, and absorb electrical energy. Examples of this includes creating lightning bolts, redirecting lightning bolts, and absorbing open electricity. Additionally, he has a naturally high resistance to electricity. Toa of Lightning usually have blue and white armor colors, but Mars's armor has been worn down by age and battle damage, causing it to look black in appearance. He himself prefers the black-white coloration. Important possessions. Mars's most important possession is the Master Spark, a legendary artifact from an alternate universe that was transported into the Bionicle universe during an incident involving a massive dimensional rift early in the universe's history. The artifact can magnify any energy put through it tenfold, making it one of the most useful artifacts in the universe. It can turn a spark into a lightning bolt, and a lightning bolt into, well, a massive freaking laser. If you notice, the clear piece on the end is cracked a bit, which is from the wear to the piece over the years. This aspect may be the inspiration to a potential conflict later in his story. Mars wears a reforged Kanohi Volt attack, the Great Mask of Stealth, which he usually tops with his signature hat. He carries a staff he built himself during his time working for the Dark Hunters. The staff allows him to focus his lightning powers. After joining the Order of Matanui, the staff was modified by Solinus, the Order's weaponsmith, to increase its effectiveness, as well as adding the ability to levitate. Mars's hat was also modified to be able to remotely control the staff when he runs his fingers along the brim, allowing him to fly by riding the staff. Mars can mount the Master Spark on the end of his staff to increase its elemental output, and to propel the staff, giving him a massive speed boost when flying. MOC analysis. Inspiration and theme. Mars is heavily inspired by one of the main characters of the Toho Project series, Marisa Kirasame. He borrows aspects from her character, design, and personality. although more so this fan concept of the same character. His abilities and backstory are mostly original, however. The name of his artifact, the Master Spark, is derived from one of Marissa's attacks, as well as one of her themes, Love-Colored Master Spark. Mars's theme is a rock remix of this song, performed by AQUAELIE. MOC Features. Mars has connection points on his hands to allow him to hold his staff. He also has 2 connection points on his back. One can store his staff, the other can hold his hat. He stands 11¼ inches tall and 4½ inches wide. MOC Articulation. Overall, Mars has 24 points of articulation. He has a decent range of ankle mobility, a 90-degree knee bend, limited hip articulation partially obstructed at the front and sides, a 270-degree waist swivel, pretty badly obstructed head articulation, almost full arm articulation partially obstructed in the front, a slightly greater than 90-degree elbow bend, full wrist and finger articulation, and an optional flex tube articulation on his hat's connection point. Interesting building techniques. Mars's hat is attached using a sneaky Technic lift arm that just barely fits between his mask and the dish piece. He also uses an old technique to thicken the ankles of the AQUAELIE leg pieces that I originally learned from Shadow Gear 6335. Mars also features cut flex tube connections to secure the AQUAELIE armor to his lower arms. Notable flaws. Besides the issues with articulation, Mars's shoulder joints are only connected at one point, which makes his arms somewhat touchy. I have to constantly check this connection point to make sure it's in all the way. Being a tall MOC makes Mars more difficult to pose without looking awkward or falling over, and his heavy staff comes out of his hands in certain poses. Fun facts. Mars's hat is actually a modified piece, which was originally tannish yellow. I painted it black originally for my LEGO Star Wars MOC, Fort Skyhook, and reused the piece when building Mars. I've already ordered a new dish piece to replace it, but it was always fun to see this part of my channel's history live on through this MOC. Overall thoughts and criticisms. Overall, Mars is one of my favorite MOCs and characters. He's a secondary main character in Night of Nights Noxus' story, so I hope I fleshed him out a fair bit for you guys. I wasn't always completely happy with his build, but I've grown to love his lazy custom limb design and the awkward shapes of his body parts. His legs are a bit too short for the length of his torso, but I've gotten used to his proportions by now, so it'd be hard for me to change them at this point. I've tried very hard to fill in as many gaps and hollow spaces within his build over the years, and I feel like I've done a pretty good job. What would you rate this MOC out of 10? Any questions about the build or the character? Leave your thoughts in the comments below, and as always, thanks for watching. Thank you all for watching my first ever MOC review. Obviously, when it comes to mocking, I have a massive tendency to prioritize character over build, and I felt that rather than deny myself that, I'd embrace it and review the MOCs in a way that does my characters justice. I apologize if you're expecting a more toy review style review, but I'm pretty much incapable of reviewing my own MOCs like that. That part of my mocking style I feel is what gives my mocks their charm. So I hope you all enjoyed, and please look forward to the How to Build for Raxus, the Black Sun, next time.